What is up, you gorgeous, fabulous creatures, and welcome to another episode of the Losing It podcast. You know this is the place where emotional eating comes to die and where your weight loss gets resurrected. So if you are falling into that category, honey, you are in the right place. So grab yourself a green smoothie and settle on in, because today I am sharing some absolutely earth-shattering news with you that popped up for me when I was fooling around basically on ChatGPT. I wasn't just fooling around. I was fooling around with ChatGPT. And she gave me some information that was so mind-blowing. I mean, it's like 100 million mind-blown emojis rolled into one. Still wouldn't be enough for the shock. I shouldn't really be shocked, but it was so incredible. I thought I need to share this with you all, because if any of you, like me, feel like or have ever felt like it's your fault that you can't lose weight, like you are the loser, you are the failure, you are the the dumbass that can't seem to get your shit together, I promise you, it isn't you. You have been I don't want to say a victim. No, you have been the sucker of a multi-billion-dollar industry. And I'm going to tell you what ChatGPT spat out for me when I asked her a really simple fucking question that relates to why we all struggle so much to lose weight. And then if we ever do lose the weight, we can't really keep it off. Why emotional eating is so high, why binge eating is overtaking not just us, but our young generation as well. Like, it's just all up in our face. So honeys, I asked ChatGPT, if you worked in the diet industry and you wanted to make sure that women desired to lose weight but never actually could, how would you do it? And the response she gave me knocked me to the floor. I'm going to read out to you exactly what she gave me, and then I'm just going to leave the rest to you. This episode, normally I give you really actionable tips, but today I want to share this with you because it's so important. I was even at a stage in my life where I wanted to unalive myself because I felt like such a fat failure. There is definitely something wrong with me. I'm the biggest loser in the world. I felt like I should just do the whole world a favor and get rid of myself because everybody would just be better off if I wasn't taking up so much space. It was that serious. So when I said to ChatGPT, let me go back and check my screen. If you worked in the diet industry and you wanted to make sure that women wanted to lose weight but never actually could do it successfully, how would you do it? She started with this. If I wanted to ensure that women desired to lose weight but could never actually achieve it, and then she said, in parentheses, purely hypothetical, of course, she said I would design the system to create a constant cycle of frustration, confusion, and temporary success without lasting results. And here are some of the ways it could be done. She started by saying I would promote unsustainable diets like quick fix and fad diets. She said I would introduce highly restrictive diets that promise fast results. And she actually said, for example, like keto, juice cleanses, or extreme calorie restrictions, but they're impossible to maintain long term. Women might lose weight quickly, but they will inevitably regain it once they return to their normal eating habits. She said temporary results would also be a focus here, ensuring that any weight loss achieved is temporary by focusing on methods that promote water loss or muscle depletion rather than actual fat loss, which leads to a rapid rebound in weight gain, keeping them on my money-making cycle. The next thing she said to me, as if this wasn't enough, she kept on going. She said, I would encourage yo-yo dieting. I would really focus heavily on cyclical failure, push programs that cycle between restriction and binging. I would create diets that leave people feeling deprived, leading them to binge eat or revert at the very least to their old eating habits, which resets the process of them wanting to lose weight again, and they can put money back in my pockets. She then said I would also focus on guilt and shame by building guilt into this cycle by framing failures as personal shortcomings, as if the individual themselves has failed. This fosters emotional eating as a coping mechanism and keeps them trapped in the cycle of weight loss and weight gain. Are your jaws dropping to the floor yet? Well, hold your horses, honey, because we're just getting started. The next point she gave me, so that was point 1 and 2. The next point she gave me, point 3, was she said I would focus on weight loss over lifestyle changes. She said, make sure that the women obsess over the bathroom scale by emphasizing the number on the scale as the only metric of success. This way, women will focus on short-term outcomes rather than long-term health and wellness, which will lead them to frustration and weight fluctuations. Then she said, I would ignore the underlying causes by avoiding addressing any emotional or psychological aspects like emotional eating, stress, unhealthy relationships with food, by focusing purely on calorie control or exercise, which will definitely leave the deeper issues remaining there and unresolved. Do you see that? I follow people on Instagram at the moment, honeys, that are huge into it's just nothing more than calories in, calories out. That's such complete bullshit. So before I go off on a tangent, let me keep going because there is more. The fourth point she gave me is she said, I would confuse the customer. I would give contradictory information left and fucking right. Well, she didn't swear. That's me. She said, I would bombard women with conflicting advice. Like 1 month it would be about carbs are bad. The next month it would be that fats are the enemy. And this would keep them constantly second guessing themselves and searching for the next solution. And that would create confusion, which would foster inaction. So they would never actually achieve their goals. Then she said, I would create complicated tracking systems. I would promote complex point systems, calorie counting or macro tracking that are tedious and overwhelming. She said, because these methods will keep them focused on minutia rather than creating sustainable habits, and it will lead them to burnout. The next point she gave me, I know, it's hard for me to stay calm. I feel like my blood pressure is rising with every point. The next thing she said is point number 5. I would create a dependency on products, such as pushing supplements and magic foods like protein shakes and meal replacements and fat burners that promise quick results but aren't sustainable. The products might work temporarily, but the weight returns as soon as they stop using them. She said, I would also focus on subscription models to encourage women to subscribe to the programs or the purchase products on an ongoing basis, ensuring that they rely on the system indefinitely instead of building skills to manage their weight on their own. Okay, still going. Point number 6. And this one is the one that makes my blood boil. She said I would blame the individual, never the system. Willpower would be the narrative. So frame weight loss as a matter of personal willpower, making sure that women feel responsible for any failure. If they gain weight, it's their fault for not being strong enough, not the diet's fault for being unrealistic or ineffective. She then said, I would create shame around any setbacks that they had. So use language that shames women for overeating or gaining weight back, therefore reinforcing the idea that their struggle is a personal flaw rather than a system designed to fail them. The last point she gave me, as if that all of that wasn't enough, was she said I would foster fear and anxiety around food. And this one is the one that hits home. As an emotional eater, as someone that has been a binge eater most of my life, she said I would demonize certain foods, labeling entire food groups like carbs, fats, or sugars as bad or dangerous, which would make women anxious about their food choices. And this is what would lead to unhealthy relationships with food and leave women in a constant cycle of restriction and binging. Honeys, these 7 points are the exact fucking formula that the diet industry has used on us to pull a number on us from day one. If you have any part of your brain that previously thought, oh, these people are there to help me, they're for sure here to be my friend, I hope this serves to prove to you that that is complete bullshit and it was actually never true. It's an industry. The wellness industry is exactly that, and it's a money-making billion-dollar industry. It can't go away. If everybody lost weight and there was a successful diet created, it would vanish overnight. Millions and millions of people would be out of a job and billions and billions and billions of dollars would be gone. They can't let that happen. what sort of a fucking idiot shuts their own business down when it's making billions of dollars? Please hear me when I say this. There is only one way out. And it isn't by thinking that you're the problem. It isn't by relying on external methods like a diet or thinking that certain food is bad or you're failing because you ate too much sugar or too many carbs. None of that was ever true. If you haven't got my free video series yet, it's 3 videos. I give you the 5 exact eating codes that I use to stop emotional eating and stop binge eating and then lose 20 kilos. Please grab it. The link is in the show notes, or you can head on over to kyliepax.com/free course. It's there for you. You don't need this bullshit in your life anymore. And if you ever doubted it, I hope this proves to you that I'm correct and it's true. If ChatGPT, who's nothing more than a computer brain, can spit this sort of shit out, then I'm pretty sure that, a whole bunch of people who can be very greedy and only thinking about money and don't care about the mental stability of the people that they are supposedly serving really don't care. They just want their money in their pockets. They want to keep their jobs. Please, please go grab the free course. Like I say, link is in the show notes, or you can head on over to kyliepax.com/free course. At the very least, please take away from this that the only person who, you hear me say it at the close of every episode, but it's never been more true or more pertinent. The only person who really does have the power to change your life is you. Nobody else can change your weight. Nobody else can change your relationship with food. I can give you all the guidelines in the world and all the eating codes, but at the end of the day, the effort must come from you. The determination will have to come from you. And that is what is most important. God doesn't put anything on your heart that you don't have the ability to accomplish. So if you have a desire to lose weight and improve your relationship with food, then you have the ability and the stamina and the mental and emotional wherewithal to achieve it. Don't let anyone or anything, especially a fucked up industry like this, convince you of anything other than that. My darlings, I'm sending you tremendous amounts of love. I hope you found this helpful. I cannot wait to see you again next week. Until then, gorgeous ones, bye for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to shimmy your butt over to kyliepax.com and join me inside of the Bombshell Blueprint so you can stop emotional eating and start losing your weight now. You'll also find helpful notes and resources inside my past podcasts that will help you lose your weight without losing your sanity. I will see you next week.